On the news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari reiterates commitment towards fighting insecurity, corruption, and others. In business, Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele warns banks against selling dollar above 360 naira. And on the foreign scene, missing Malaysian plane long search ends as Australia led hunt of footer. Hello there, and many thanks for joining us on Superscreen's flagship news, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. President Muhammadu Buhari says the commemoration of the 2018 Democracy Day, which also marks the third anniversary of his administration, is a celebration of freedom for Nigerians. President Buhari disclosed this in a nationwide broadcast to commemorate the nation's Democracy Day. The president said the celebration is also an opportunity for renewed commitment by his government to security as a recall efforts made in this area.
Before this administration came into being 3 years ago, Boko Haram held large areas of land spanning several local governments in the northeast. Today, the capacity of the insurgents has been degraded, leading to the re-establishment of authority of government and the release of captives, including happily 106 Chibok and 104 deputy guards and over 16,000 other persons held by Boko Haram. In order to minimize the impact of the insurgency on internally displaced persons, government has established secure IDP camps and has improved the mechanism for the distribution of basic aid, foods, and essential commodities using various strategies in collaboration with local and international organizations. Efforts are in process for resettlement of IDPs in their home communities by providing schools, hospitals, clinics, water, and sanitation to facilitate a quick return to economic activities. Government is similarly implementing de-radicalization and rehabilitation programs to facilitate sustainable peace and development.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who commended the resilience of Nigerians, promised to continue to fight corruption.
The fight against corruption through the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has resulted in recoveries of billions of naira, as well as forfeiture of various forms of assets. This, alongside other efforts, has improved Nigeria's international image and regional cooperation. Various policy measures already put in place to stem the tide of corrupt practices are yielding remarkable results. Some of these key reform policies include: A. The Treasury single account has realized billions of naira being saved from maintenance fee payable to banks. 200 billion naira has also been saved from elimination of ghost workers in public service. B. The whistleblowing policy has helped to recover over 500 billion naira. C. The Prudential Initiative of Continuous Audit set up was amended to validate controls, assess risks, prevent personal costs, ensure compliance with public financial management reforms, has helped to identify and remove over 52,000 ghost workers from the federal government MDS payroll. The Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, aimed at expanding tax education and awareness, has offered the opportunity for tax defaulters to regularize their status in order to enjoy the amnesty of forgiveness on overdue interest.
President Muhammadu Buhari speaking there. And now as Nigeria commemorates its 19th Democracy Day, the federal government has been urged to work on the security of lives and properties of citizens. This appeal was made by some political observers on their assessment of Nigeria's democracy. Struggle driven by the vision for a better Nigeria. The nation resisted military system of government and enthroned democracy. A feat achieved in 1999 when the military government of General Abdulsalam Abubakar handed over power to the then democratically elected President Olusegun Obasanjo, and since then democracy has been running smoothly. While the People's Democratic Party PDP ruled for 16 years, the All Progressives Congress APC took over power in 2015 and have spent 3 years. But given the past and the present, how has the nation fared under democracy? These political observers gave their assessment. For them, there is a problem with human rights.
The principle of democracy is the government, the rule of the people. The rule of the people. And under Nigerian democracy, because we are multi-religious states, I can say the Nigerian democracy is also the rule of the people and the rule of God. So whenever there is a government that is not consistent with the principle of the people, automatically there is a problem. And whenever such government is not running the governance in a way that is consistent with the Constitution, by the provision of Section 1 of subsection 2, automatically that particular democracy is not the true democracy. So we can say that Nigerians, we are practicing democracy, but we are not, the government is not observing the true principles of democracy.
There are basic fundamental human rights that are enunciated by the Nigerian Constitution, which the average Nigerian person is entitled to enjoy. One of such rights is the right to life, right to own property, and the Constitution also says that protection of life and the property of the people shall be the primary responsibility of governance. Unfortunately, the right to life and right to property have become under serious threat in the recent times. All over the country, people are being killed indiscriminately, properties are being burnt, the roads have become so unsafe, people are being kidnapped and murdered on the roads. School children can no longer go to school freely without being exposed to the risk of being kidnapped and taken away to unknown destinations where their lives are jeopardized. A whole lot of young Nigerian people are being trafficked on a daily basis to different parts of the world. Our children, the youths, are also migrating to to countries that are not too disposed or hospitable to Nigerian people. Look at the alarming rate in which Nigerians are being assaulted in places like South Africa and some of the North African countries. When you look at some of these things happening, these are areas in which our democracy has been failing seriously.
Looking into the nation's political future, these political observers were quick to condemn social injustice, poor standard of living, and insecurity that has led to killings and kidnapping, among others. They tasked government on the need to intensify efforts at securing lives and property.
In Section 13 and also Section 14, provides that democracy should be the government with certain objectives. So these things and all those objectives are for the favor of the people. For example, security, the welfare of the people, and other things. So I can say the Nigerian democracy, we are still on the learning process. We have not attained to a standard democracy.
We want to enjoy the government, that they should buckle up and ensure that the rights of the average Nigerian person to life and the security of his property, whether within the boundaries of Nigeria or outside, are better protected.
As Nigeria commemorates this year's Democracy Day, it will be right the government, as suggested, protects the rights of its citizens. President Muhammadu Buhari has been charged to promote the rule of law by allowing the opposition parties in government. A member of the House of Representatives, Kako Are, representing Mushin constituency Muan, made the appeal in his assessment of Nigeria's democracy.
We might not be where we expect it to be, but we should thank God. At least we have people within our community that we can easily refer to when it comes to democracy. People like me, there are other legislators, House of Assembly members, there are council chairmen, there are councillors. These are all about democracy. Yes, whatever we've been today, we can still improve on it. And I want to advise the current head of state, President Muhammadu Buhari, that it's all about democracy. And there is no way you can talk of democracy without sustaining opposition to. It's not as if I'm 100% satisfied. We can always improve on it. This is just a starting point.
The House of Reps members called for improvement in different sectors.
Power, we should talk about it. Education, transportation, road network, even dollar, economy. You should know that this is not where dollar was when Buhari came in. It's times 2. Most of the prices are times 2. Just like their congresses, everything are double. It's now double. So we expect improvement on all those ones. And Nigeria cannot just continue like this. But then, I will still vote for democracy any day.
A House of Reps member, Kako Are, speaking there. And now, a former spokesperson for the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Dayo Adeyeye, has defected to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The former Minister of State for Work said he is joining forces with the APC and its candidate, Kayode Fayemi, to rescue Ekiti State. Interestingly, the former PDP spokesperson also went with his supporters to the All Progressives Congress. His defection is a pointer that the Ekiti gubernatorial polls will be a tough battle. In health matters, the World Health Organization, WHO, has deployed 39 staff members to contain the outbreak of cholera in Mubi North and Mubi South local government areas of Adamawa State. A statement from the Health Emergencies Communication Officer of WHO, Chima Onukwe, said there were plans to engage additional 15 other personnel to boost the medical efforts. The statement said 434 suspected cases have been recorded with 13 deaths as of May 26. Reacting to this, Adamawa Commissioner for Health, Fatima Atiku, said the state is collaborating with WHO and other partners to ensure that the outbreak is contained. The Federal High Court in Lagos State has ordered the immediate prosecution of the principal officers of the National Assembly indicted in the pardon of the 2016 budget to the tune of 481 billion naira. The court, in a judgment, ordered President Muhammadu Buhari to instruct the anti-graft agencies which investigated the alleged budget pardon to submit the report to him. Justice Idris gave the judgment in favor of a group, Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP, which in 2017 filed a suit seeking an order of mandamus to compel the AGF to prosecute principal members of the National Assembly who allegedly pardoned the 2016 budget. You're still watching Superscreen News at 8, coming up in business. The Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele warns banks against selling dollar above 360 naira. Details of these and more coming up shortly. Well, many thanks for staying with us now in Business World. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Godwin Emefiele, has warned the banks against selling dollars to eligible travelers above the stipulated price of 360 naira. Emefiele gave the warning during an inspection of banks in Abuja to monitor the rate of compliance with the circular issued to banks on the sale of forex. The bank branches visited by the governor are Zenith Bank PLC in Maitama, First Bank of Nigeria Limited in the central area, and the United Bank for Africa PLC in Area 3. The CBN had issued the circular to banks directing them to sell foreign exchange over the counter to eligible buyers who walk into any bank regardless of whether they are customers of the bank or not. The CBN governor said to qualify to access a foreign exchange under this regime, each eligible travelers must have in their possession a valid traveling document such as visas, passports, and air tickets. Emefiele further said they would deploy examiners to continue with the on-site inspection of the lenders. In another development, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has provided funds to power distribution companies for the purchase of 704,928 meters and for the acquisition and installation of over 500 transformers. The Federal Ministry of Power Works and Housing in Abuja said the facility will also help the DISCOs to provide 13.78 billion naira of security cover to the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company and the market operator as required under the vesting contracts and market rules. The bank has also said more than 24 billion naira to gas suppliers and rehabilitated over 2,000 kilometers of 11 kV lines and 130 kilometers of 0.45 kV lines. Still talking business news, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, in Abeokuta Field Office has shut down 19 liquefied petroleum gas and skid plants in Ogun State over their failure to adhere to safety standards and operating without a license. The operation controller of DPR Abeokuta Field Office, Muinat Bello Zagi, disclosed this in Abeokuta at a meeting with the leadership and members of LPG Skid Owners Association, Ogun State Chapter. Bello Zagi said the department carried out the sealing of the defaulting gas plants during a 2-week safety surveillance of LPG and skid plants in Mowe, Magboro, Abeokuta, Shagamu, Isheri-Olofin, and Ijebu-Ode. And that's it in business news. We'll take another short break, but still ahead on the news. A missing Malaysian plane launch search ends as Australia led hand future. Join us for details of